allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just can't have nice things, Commissioner.
Welcome to the April 20th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everybody, and welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
First item, please.
Unfinished business, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-129, 2017 with AT&T for an additional 2 years of T1 circuit service from the courthouse to the Expo Center at a cost of $310 and from the North Annex to the hazardous waste facility at a cost of $460 per month, with funding provided by the departments utilizing the circuits.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Bliner with the Information Technology Department. Thank you for allowing me to bump this to this meeting. This item is a correction to the contract that was approved back in February with between Shawnee County and AT&T. Apparently the I's were crossed and the T's were dotted on that one, so we've got that corrected and got it back in front of you for approval this week. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
I don't have any questions.
Any questions, Commissioner Bueller?
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Comments or questions on the consent? It had 5 items.
I have none.
I have none. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
New business, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we have vouchers that total $678,182.95. The highlights out of that voucher report, holding accounts with the state of Kansas of $121,136.21. IT, information technology, $23,838.73. Health insurance premium, $73,274.76. KBS construction for the courts of $69,346. Department of Corrections expenditures of $79,816.80. Parks and Recreation, again, as we gear up for that spring season, it's $27,017.86. SunGuard, which is our software program for the county, $29,750. And finally, courts of $80,007.47, and that's operations. I would have no questions. I would move for approval.
No questions either. Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook, and that was seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Court Administration. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-139, 2017 with Jury Systems, Inc. for maintenance for jury software for 3 years at a total cost of $3,660.
Good morning, Charles Hydovitz, District Court. This is just an annual maintenance contract that we're going to renew. It will be good for 3 years of service. It just covers all of the upgrades and things that happen over the course of that time period for $3,660, and it has been pre-budgeted over the course of our budget year. So,
Okay. Very good. Questions for Chuck? Well, I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Next item.
Item C, Counselor. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-140, 2017 with Midland Care Connection, Inc. to amend contract C-429, 2016, paragraph 9, allowing Midland Care Connection to retain ownership of mattresses and chair beds purchased with the 2017 $20,000 funding from the county.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jonathan Berzon, Assistant County Counselor. This is just a request for Midland Care Connection. Normally, our social service grant funding contract requires that any item over $500 with an expected life of 3 years or more has to retain or has to be titled in the name of the Board of County Commissioners, then returned after the funding ceases or if the project or if the contract is terminated. In this case, Midland Care has notified the county that they would like to buy chair beds and mattresses for family members staying at their hospice house, and it's their request that they be able to retain permanent ownership of those items. Be happy to answer any question.
Questions for Jonathan on this issue?
I do not. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approval of resolution number 2017-17, decreasing the number of fire board members of Shawnee County Fire District number 4 from 7 to 5.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Jonathan Berzon, Assistant County Counselors. As stated in the memo, this is a request from Fire District number 4, and I believe Lou Allen is here and would like to speak on the item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thanks for having us here and hearing this today. We're just requesting to reduce the members down from 7 to 5. We did some research when we had some members who had been on for close to 20 years, wanting to get off, some with some health concerns. And when we did that, we felt that the statute provided us the leeway to get that down to 5. So that's what we're requesting.
Very good. Commissioner Bueller?
Commissioner Cook might have.
I don't have any.
Okay. I just want to point out, Gary Ross is
Yes.
also here.
He's the chairman of our fire board presently,
Good.
and I'm the treasurer. So.
And you have had extensive discussion at your board meetings, and nobody just, in
Correct.
opposition? of
We've been
this?
discussing this at our board meeting for approximately a little over a year. Looking and, of course, coordinating with your counselor's office and trying to see what it required. We've had no concerns. I know when 7 members were put on years ago, it was because the district also included some part of Wabunsee County. It still does. And there had been some, controversy maybe or something. I was not around during that time. But since that time, we've got it down to where policy is easy to be made. The board members we currently have are still willing to serve. Believe they serve at the will and pleasure of you, the commissioners. So we'd like to get it down. So that will help us have a quorum more often. And like I said, I think as far as policy is concerned, the kind of decisions we would make in the expenditures would work well, just as well with the 5-member boards. I would like to thank the 2 board members that are stepping down for their long services. That's Betty Miller and Roger Sage. They, like I said, have served for 20 years. Roger first served as a volunteer firefighter, so kudos to them.
Absolutely. It always amazes me, the volunteer spirit that we've got in our community, and this was just another example. 20 years on, that's just amazing.
I would point out that our fire district, Shawnee County Fire District number 4, is 100% volunteer, and I believe we are currently the only 100% volunteer fire department in Shawnee County. So kudos to all those guys, too.
Absolutely.
And their families.
Absolutely. Thank
Put
you
up with us.
Thank you so much. Motion?
I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much again. Next item, please.
Item D, Information Technology. Number 1, consider approval to fill the vacant Assistant Network Administrator position at a higher compensation rate of $67,431.44, including benefits.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Pat Oberlin with the Information Technology Department. We recently held interviews with several candidates for that applied for the Assistant Network Administrator position within IT. And among the group, they were all well-qualified candidates, and it's a difficult decision for us to try to pick among them. But we did identify one particular individual who very closely matched the skill set that we're looking for that's specific to what we're doing here in Shawnee County, the kinds of projects that we're currently involved in, and the needs that we want to fill. Any of the three candidates could come in and start doing that sort of work, but this particular individual has relevant experience that would be able to be applied immediately upon employment. Others would take some time to come up to speed, which isn't a big problem, but this one we could put to work immediately and take the load off of Mr. Price, who's in the audience, hoping desperately that we can get him some help immediately. So we would like to ask the commissioners to allow us to offer this position to the well-qualified individual at range 14, step 9, rather than the step 1 where the position would normally be positioned. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
And this, if I may, this was discussed with Betty Greiner and our HR director?
Yes,
Okay.
we want to make sure that we don't impact our 2018 budget.
Yes.
And those sorts of things were all taken into account as we came up with these arrangements. And yes, we had extensive conversations with Betty Greiner and Jeff McMillan, the HR director.
That's the way to do it. Okay, questions or comments?
I have none. I move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, commissioners.
Next item, please.
Item E, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-141, 2017 with Timekeeping Systems, Inc. for annual maintenance of the Guard One Plus server system, which is used to record and document the cell checks, various offender activities or demeanors when on suicide watch, and also the security rounds made by security staff at a cost of $1,310 with funding from the 2017 operational budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eve Kendall from Department of Corrections. Have for you I guess, an annual contract that we put forward. As was noted, it's for our inmate activity that we log, and it's our main technology that we use. We do have money in our budget for this renewal, and it has gone through the County Counselor's Office for their approval also. I'll be happy to stand for any questions you might have.
Questions for Eve?
This is a pretty key point of software that we use at the Department of Corrections, especially when it comes to monitoring for suicide prevention. How is it used?
Sir, we have a pipe, what we call it, and on it there is a electrode type thing that touches a button, and when they match, it goes to the computer to log that we had actually been at that location, so that when we're going around to the different rooms or cells, we touch the pipe to the button on the wall to show that an officer was actually there looking at the inmate. We also have it to where the buttons have different demeanors on them, like the inmate is sleeping, the inmate is eating, just given water, that kind of thing, so that we're able to log their activity to show that we are interacting with the inmate and the inmate is interacting with us.
So those are pretty key when you're monitoring your inmates at the Department of Corrections.
Yes, sir, and it also instead of just using paper and pencil, which sometimes people can say can be manipulated, this technology allows that if it's not done, you don't see it on our reports. So it's a way to cross-balance, basically, to show that we are doing what we say we're doing.
I don't have any other questions. I would move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item F, Public Works. Number 1, consider approval of request to award bid to Ham Inc. for the purchase of 16,000 tons of hot mix asphalt at an estimated cost of $654,400 for asphalt overlay on several miles of county roadways with funding from the 2017 Public Works Road Maintenance Fund, Special Bridge Fund, Special Highway Fund, and Monmouth and Grove Townships Roadway Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block of Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item, and we went out for our annual bid for bulk asphalt, and this is the asphalt we use in-house for our own crews to complete work, like mill and overlay projects. We received 2 bids, and the low bid was submitted by Ham Incorporated, who has a plant here in the county. And It is our recommendation we know they provide a high-quality product. We use them in the past. It's our recommendation that the bid for the bulk asphalt be awarded to Ham. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions for Tom?
Do not have any. Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
you.
Tom. Next item, please.
Administrative communications.
Administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cindy Evans, Shawnee County Extension. I bumped into Bob in the hallway, and we were talking about the Farm to You program. 1,000 second graders were over at the Expo Center on Tuesday. It takes me a few days to recover from that as I get a little older. But he asked me to share, and so I just wanted to tell you it was an excellent day. The reason why we even host the program is to try to expose kids to the value of Kansas agriculture. So we use a theme around pizza. And we tell them how all the parts of a pizza are grown or raised by Kansas farmers. And so as the kids are coming in, they get a slice of pizza from CC's. CC's has been a partner for many years, and the Kansas Farm Bureau pays for all the pizza for the kids and a significant portion of the rental of the Expo Center for that day. So we couldn't do it, without that. And then we created a brief video, about a 4-minute video a few years ago, that kids could actually see all the parts taking place, of wheat in the field being cut by a combine, being milled, turning it into flour. So it just sets the stage for what they're going to see at the rotation sessions, which are over in Domer Arena. And so we break them into groups then, and we have 11 learning stations. Education is what we are always about. And so at those stations, we've got 75 volunteers that make this happen that day. A lot of 4-H kids, FFA students, master gardeners. So the kids will get an educational experience related to beef, poultry, swine, dairy. Sometimes it's the first time they get the drift of how those are in the food supply. We try not to be overly graphic, but to understand, this beef will become your hamburger. One Kansas farmer feeds 126 people. And as there are fewer farmers on the farm, the equipment gets larger. And it's important that the kids understand what an adequate food supply looks like. They're used to going to the grocery store and seeing plenty of food on the shelves. We take that for granted. And the other thing is how animals are treated humanely and how the food is kept safe. So those are the main concepts we want a second grader to walk away with. We have a veterinarian that's there, somebody who talks about weather, the master gardeners with all kinds of vegetables in process that shows how this tomato becomes the sauce, turns into ketchup or other kinds of things in our food supply. It takes 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese. So there's a lot of little things that we put into the day, but a lot of it, with the kids is how they care for the animals and getting these kids up close to the kinds of equipment and things that are used in a modern day agricultural business. So it's a really good day. And I'm glad it's one day a year.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you.
Commissioners, Tom Block, again, with Public Works and Solid Waste. Just a reminder, give a little bit of advance notice to folks. We are having our electronic recycling event, not this Saturday, but next Saturday on April 29th. And we're co-hosting that with the city of Topeka. It's going to be at the Kansas Expo Center parking lot from 9 to 1 p.m. So if they have any time this weekend, they can gather up their stuff this weekend so they'll be ready for next weekend. But give them a little bit of advance notice to start preparing for that. All right, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin Gregory, Kansas Expo Center. Did want to touch on what Cindy said. Farm to You is an incredible event. It's really fun to watch the second graders walk in there and actually see a cow or a pig for the very first time. The expression on their face is priceless. Just a little quick update on what's going on at the Expo Center this weekend. Saturday night in Landon Arena, we are hosting Damon Reed's boxing event. Doors will open at 6. Event will start at 7. Exhibition Hall, we are hosting the Capper Foundation Evening as a Child. Doors open at 7 also, or 6 at that. The event starts at 7. Dome Arena is hosting a 3-day barrel race. The Ag Hall is hosting the NEECS testing for 2 days, and there's a wedding in Heritage Hall. So the 5-ring circus of Expo Center is in full swing this weekend.
Very good. Thank you, Dustin. Anyone else for administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Cook?
No, we often talk about our volunteers. We talked about the volunteers on the fire board. We have our volunteers with the Master Gardeners at the Extension Office. We have our volunteers with the Fred F. Tinsley Gardens. But I understand that tonight there's an event, and if I could ask Eve Kendall with Department of Corrections to come up and talk about some of our volunteers that might not always be in the spotlight, like a Master Gardener or Fred F. Tinsley Gardens or a fire board.
Yes, sir. Eve Kendall, Department of Corrections. Tonight we are holding our annual Volunteer Appreciation Banquet, where we appreciate and show our great deep regard for our volunteers that we have at the Department of Corrections. They do a variety of things. We have volunteers that come in that do some life skills with our younger juvenile residents, and with our adult residents as well. We have volunteers that come in and do various religious services and Bible studies and whatnot. We have AA and NA volunteers. We have volunteers that come in with that do pet therapy with the juveniles so that they can see that that there is some unconditional love in various places and different ways that they can interact with pets and whatnot. We have a variety of volunteers that we would never be able to have some of the programming we have without the volunteers that we have that put in numerous hours on a weekly basis. So we are proud that we are able to give them a banquet, acknowledge their presence. We will have a Volunteer of the Year, and I'm assuming and hoping that some of you guys are going to be there tonight also.
All right. Thank you. And like I said, it doesn't always get the attention that it properly deserves, because without the volunteer help, we couldn't do all the programs that we do in Shawnee County.
Yes, you're right. Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Thank you very much. Commissioner Bueller, anything?
That's what I had as well. I will be there. So, and just a welcome to Jessica Cole from the Capital Journal. Tim Rencher sent us a note that you would be joining us today, so welcome. I don't have anything else other than this afternoon's activities with the luncheon.
Yes, we do. We have the State of the Community Luncheon today, and the tickets are $50, but I understand scalpers are now getting $19.50 for them. So I don't know. One of the things I'm going to try to highlight today, a number of things, but one is our senior leaders in Shawnee County, and I call them the dream team. We're so fortunate to have the leaders that we do in Shawnee County, and I asked each of them to give me some information about them, their backgrounds, and something that would surprise people. And I got from Tom Vlock, for example, he said he was going to be running a marathon this year, which I was impressed with. But I think the one that was I got the biggest chuckle out of was from Brian Cole. And Brian Cole said that most people don't know that he has an identical twin, but that Brian is the more handsome one. You got to think about that one a little bit. So I'm looking forward to the luncheon today, and I think it's going to be a good event for the community and for all of us. So next item, please.
Executive session?
There's not a need, so we are adjourned.